read. It's day 90. 90 days. 90 days in a row. 90, honestly, 90 days in a row, bro. 90 days in a row is crazy, bro. Not gonna lie, 90 days in a row. What's today's date? Give me 1 second, verify. Today's the 28th. Chat, today's the 28th. This is day 90 in a row of our 1 year Bible read. If you want to join us, please like, subscribe, and type in the chat if you got something to say. If you want to do what, say, give some praise, do whatever you got to do. Say thank you for being alive today. Whatever you want to do today, I'll go ahead and throw that in the chat. Go ahead and throw a like on the stream. As soon as you join, this is day 90 in a row. And we're getting to our pages for tonight. We're on March the 28th. What's up, Pop? How you doing? This week has been a roller coaster of emotions. What's up, Skid? I hope you're doing all right, bro. I hope you're doing all right, my boy. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. And don't forget, as soon as you join the stream, like the stream. What's up, basketball? How you doing? Don't forget, as soon as y'all join the stream, like the stream, chat. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining me today. It's day 90 in a row. It's day 90 in a row. I'm doing pretty good. I got a haircut. You feel me? I got a haircut. It always feel good when you get a haircut. It's at least three of y'all in here. I need to see at least three likes on the stream. Not gonna lie, but I just got a haircut. You always feel good after a fresh haircut. Um, it's day 90. Been doing this for 90 days in a row. It's an accomplishment regardless, you know, accomplishment regardless of how you feel about doing it. To me, it feels like an accomplishment. Um, and yeah, so I feel good. I'm not gonna lie. I hope y'all doing good too. I'm furthest from also nice haircut. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Ugh. I condition the hair. That's some dry condition on top of my scalp. But I condition my hair. You feel me? But let's get into our chapters tonight. So Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 15, ending on verse 23. Luke 8:40 through 9, and then on verse 6. Following that up with Psalm 71, 1 through 24. And then wrapping up our reads tonight with Proverbs 12, 5 through 7. And then you tell me what happened. Go ahead, my boy. But I'm not gonna read. I'm not gonna read it till after I finish Deuteronomy. So I'm gonna look up after I finish Deuteronomy. So Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 15, ending on verse 23. You got cooked during the packs. Hey, listen, I won the last pack. That's all that matters. Suppose there are prophets among you, or those who dream dreams about the future, and they promise you signs or miracles, and the predicted signs or miracles occur. If then say, "Come, let us worship other gods you have not known before." Do not listen to them. The Lord your God is testing you to see if you truly love him with all your heart and soul. Serve only the Lord your God and fear him alone. Obey his commands, listen to his voice, and cling to him. The false prophets or visionaries who try to lead you astray must be put to death, for they encourage rebellion against the Lord your God, who redeemed you from slavery and brought you out of the land of Egypt. Ooh. Since they try to lead you astray from the way the Lord your God commanded you to live, you must put them to death. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. Suppose someone secretly entices you, even your brother, your son or daughter, your beloved wife, or your closest friend, and says, "Let us go worship other gods," gods that neither you nor your ancestors have known. They might suggest that you worship the gods of peoples who live nearby or who come from the ends of the earth. But do not give in or listen. Have no pity and do not spare or protect them. You must put them to death, strike the first blow yourself, and then all the people must join in. So we jump in. Stone the guilty ones to death because they have tried to draw you away from the Lord your God, who rescued you from the land of Egypt, the place of slavery. Then all of Israel will hear about it and be afraid, and no one will act so wickedly again. When you begin living in the towns the Lord your God has given you, you may hear the scoundrels among you are leading their fellow citizens astray by saying, "Let's go worship other gods you have not known before." In such cases, you must examine the facts carefully. If you find that the report is true and such a detestable act has been committed among you, you must attack that town to completely destroy all its inhabitants, as well as all the livestock. Then you must pile all the plunder in the middle of the open square and burn it. Burn the entire town as a burnt offering to the Lord your God. That town must remain a ruin forever. It may never be rebuilt. Keep none of the plunder that has been set apart for destruction. Then the Lord return. Then the Lord return from his fierce anger and be merciful to you. He will have compassion on you and make you a large nation, just as he swore to your ancestors. The Lord your God will be merciful only if you listen to his voice that I'm giving you today, doing what pleases him. Since you are the people of the Lord your God, never cut yourselves or shave your hair above your foreheads in mourning for the dead. You have been set apart as holy to the Lord your God, and he has chosen you from all the nations of the earth to be his own special treasure. You must not eat any detestable animals that are ceremonially unclean. These are the animals you may eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the deer, the gazelle, the roe deer, the wild goat, the addox, the antelope, and the mountain sheep. You may eat any animal that has completely split hooves and chews the cud. But if the animal doesn't have both, it may not be eaten. So you may not eat the camel, the hare, or the hyrax. They chew the cud, but do not have split hooves. So they are ceremonially unclean for you. And you may not eat the pig. It has split hooves, but does not chew the cud. So it is ceremonially unclean for you. You may not eat the meat of these animals or even touch their carcasses. Of all the marine animals, you may eat whatever has both fins and scales. You may not, however, eat marine animals that do not have both fins and scales. They are ceremonially unclean for you. You may eat any bird that is ceremonially clean. These are the birds you may not eat: the griffin vulture, the bearded vulture, the black vulture, the kite, the falcon, buzzards of all kinds, ravens of all kinds, the eagle owl, the short-eared owl, the seagull, hawks of all kinds, the little owl, the gray owl, and the barn owl, the desert owl, the Egyptian vulture, the cormorant, the stork, herons of all kinds, the hoopoe, and the bat. All winged insects that walk along the ground are ceremonially unclean for you and may not be eaten. But you may eat any winged bird or insect that is ceremonially clean. You must not eat anything that has died a natural death. You may give it to a foreigner living in your town, or you may sell it to a stranger, but do not eat it yourselves, for you are set apart as holy to the Lord your God. You must not cook a young goat in his mother's milk. You must set aside a tithe of your crops, one tenth of all crops you harvest each year, bringing this tithe to the designated place of worship, the place the Lord your God chooses for his name to be honored, and eat it there in his presence. This applies to your tithes of grain, new wine, olive oil, and the firstborn males of your flocks and herds. Doing this will teach you to fear the Lord your God. Then, when the Lord your God blesses you with a good harvest, the place of worship he chooses for his name to be honored might be too far for you to bring the tithe. If so, you may sell the tithe. You may sell the tithe portion of your crops and herds, put the money in a pouch, and go to the place your Lord your God has chosen. When you arrive, you may use the money to buy any kind of food you want: cattle, sheep, goats, wine, or other alcoholic drink. Then feast there in the presence of the Lord your God and celebrate with your household. And do not neglect the Levites in your town, for they will receive no allotment of the land among you. At the end of every third year, bring the entire tithe of that year's harvest and store it in the nearest town. Give it to the Levites, who will receive no allotment of land among you, as well as the foreigners living among you, the orphans and the widows in your towns, so they can eat and be satisfied. Then the Lord your God will bless you in all your work. At the end of every seventh year, you must cancel the debts of everyone who owes you money. This is how it must be done. Everyone must cancel the loans they have made to their fellow Israelites. They must not demand payment from their neighbors or relatives for the Lord's time of release has arrived. This release from debt, however, applies only to your fellow Israelites, not to the foreigners living among you. There should be no poor among you, for the Lord your God will greatly bless you in the land he has given you as a special possession. You will receive the blessings. You will receive this blessing if you are careful to obey all the commands of the Lord your God that I'm giving you today. The Lord your God will bless you as he has promised. You will lend money to nations, but will never need to borrow. You will rule many nations, but they will not rule over you. But if there are any poor Israelites in your towns when you arrive in the land the Lord has given you, do not be hard hearted or tight fisted toward them. Instead, be generous and lend them whatever they need. Do not be mean spirited and refuse someone a loan because of the for canceling debts is close at hand. If you refuse to make the loan and the needy person cries out to the Lord, you will be considered guilty of sin. Give generously to the poor, not grudgingly, for the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do. There will always be some in the land who are poor. That is why I'm commanding you to share freely with the poor and with the other Israelites in need. If a fellow Hebrew sells himself or herself to be your servant and serves you for 6 years, in the seventh year you must set that servant. When you release a male servant, do not send him away empty handed. Give him a generous farewell gift from flock, your threshing floor, and your winepress. Show him some of the bounty with which the Lord your God has blessed you. Remember that you were once slaves in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. That is why I'm giving you this command. But suppose your servant says, I will not leave you, because he loves you and your family, and he has done well with you. In that case, take an awl and push it through his earlobe into the door. After that, he will be your servant for life, and do the same for your female servants. You must not consider it a hardship when you release your servants. Remember that for 6 years they have given you services worth double the wages of hired workers, and the Lord your God will bless you in all you do. You must set aside for the Lord your God all the firstborn males from your flocks and herds. Do not use the firstborn of your herds to work your fields, and do not shear the firstborn of your flocks. Instead, you and your family must eat these animals in the presence of the Lord your God each year at the place he chooses. But if the firstborn animal has any defect, such as lameness or blindness, or if anything else is wrong with it, you must not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. Instead, use it for food for your family in your hometown. Anyone, whether ceremonially clean or unclean, may eat it. Just as anyone may eat a gazelle or deer, but you must not consume the blood. You must pour it on the ground like water. And chat, that is. Thank y'all for the likes. Hey, what's up? Pray for me, guys. I got you, Julian. I'm gonna think. Can you please shout me out in my channel? I'm going through some really hard time right now. I'm a fellow Christian, bro. Hey, no problem, bro. Hey, listen. You ain't got it. You just got. I gotta do it. I got you for sure. I'm not gonna talk no more. Deuteronomy, and that was Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 15, ending on verse 23. You know. Okay. Luke, and now we're going to get into Luke 8:40 through 9, ending on verse 6. On the other side of the lake, the crowds welcomed Jesus because they had been waiting for him. Then a man named Arius, a leader of the local synagogue, came and fell at Jesus' feet, pleading with him to come home with him. His only daughter, who was about 12 years old, was dying. As Jesus went with him, he was surrounded by the crowds. A man in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding, and she could find no cure. Coming up behind Jesus, she touched a fringe of his robe. Immediately, the bleeding stopped. Who touched me? Jesus asked. Everyone denied it, and Peter said, Master, this whole crowd is pressing up against you. But Jesus said, Someone deliberately touched me, for I felt healing power go out from me. When the woman realized that she could not stay hidden, she began to tremble and fell to her knees in front of him. The whole crowd heard her explain why she had touched him and that she had been immediately healed. Daughter, he said to her, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. While he was still speaking to her, a messenger arrived from the home of Jairus, the leader of the synagogue. He told him, your daughter is dead. There's no use troubling the teacher now. But when Jesus heard what had happened, he said to Jairus, don't be afraid, just have faith, and she will be healed. When they arrived at the house, Jesus wouldn't let anyone go in with him except Peter, John, James, and the little girl's father and mother. The house was filled with people, weeping and wailing, but he said, Stop the weeping. She isn't dead. She is only asleep. But the crowd laughed at him because they all knew she had died. Then Jesus took her by hand and said in a loud voice, My child, get up. And at that moment, her life returned and she immediately stood up. Then Jesus told them to give her something to eat. Her parents were overwhelmed, but Jesus insisted that they not tell anyone what had happened. One day, Jesus called together his 12 disciples and gave them power and authority to cast out all demons and heal all diseases. Then he sent them out to tell everyone about the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. Take nothing for your journey, he instructed them. Do not take a walking stick, a traveler's bag, food, money, or even a change of clothes. Wherever you go, stay in the same house until you leave town. And if a town refuses to welcome you, shake its dust from your feet as you leave to show that you have abandoned those people to their fate. So they began their circuit of villages, preaching the good news and healing the sick. And now, chat, that was the end of our read from Luke 8:40 through 9, ending on verse 6. Okay, hold up. I'm gonna have to. Ooh, ooh. Okay, hold up. You wanna take it away? Facts, facts, Pop. Let me tell you. Copy paste. Oh my god, that's funny. Oh man, that's mad hilarious. That is a dramatic story. That is Skittles, Skit, bro. That is so that is super comical. I'm not gonna lie. That is extremely comical. Oh man, I just imagine somebody running across the wall. Oh man, that's funny. And now we're gonna get to Psalms 71, 1 through 24. O Lord, I have come to you for protection. Don't let me be disgraced. Save me and rescue me. For you do what is right. Turn your ear to listen to me and set me free. Be my rock of safety, where I can always hide. Give the order to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress. My God, rescue me from the power of the wicked, from the clutches of cruel oppressors. O Lord, you alone are my hope. I've trusted you, O Lord, from childhood. Yes, you have been with me from birth. From my mother's womb, you have cared for me. No wonder I am always praising you. My life is an example to many because you have been my strength and my protection. That is why I can never stop praising you. I declare your glory all day long. And now, in my old age, don't set me aside. Don't abandon me when my strength is failing, for my enemies are whispering against me. They are plotting together to kill me. They say, God has abandoned him. Let's go and get him, for no one will help him now. Oh God, don't stay away. My God, please hurry to help me. Bring disgrace and destruction on my accusers. Humiliate and shame those who want to harm me. But I will keep on hoping for your help. I will praise you more and more, and I will tell everyone about your righteousness. All day long, I will proclaim your saving power. Though I am not skilled with words, I will praise your mighty deeds. O sovereign Lord, I will tell everyone that you alone are just. O God, you have taught me from my earliest childhood, and I constantly tell others about the wonderful things you do. Now that I'm old and gray, do not abandon me, O God. Let me proclaim your power to this new generation, your mighty miracles to all who come after me. Your righteousness, O God, reaches the highest heavens. You have done such wonderful things. Who can compare with you, O God? You have allowed me to suffer much hardship, but you will restore me to life again and lift me up from the depths of the earth. You will restore me to even greater honor and comfort me once again. Then I will praise you with music on the harp, because you are faithful to your promises, O my God. I will sing praises to you with a lyre, O Holy One of Israel. I will shout for joy and sing your praises, for you have ransomed me. I will tell I will tell about your righteous deeds all day long. For everyone who tried to hurt me has been shamed and humiliated. And chat, that was the end of Psalms 71, 1 through 24. Oh, for sure. I got for sure. Hey, I'm happy to see what you got cooked up for the prayer. And now Proverbs 12, 5 through 7. And now the plans of the godly are just. The advice of the wicked is treacherous. The words of the wicked are like a murderous ambush. But the words of the godly save lives. The wicked die and disappear, but the family of the godly stands firm. Let's read it one more time because this is technically 12, 12. 12, 5 through 7 is 12, 5 plus 7, 12, 12. The plans of the godly are just. The advice of the wicked is treacherous. The words of the wicked are just like a murderous ambush, but the words of the godly save lives. The wicked die and disappear, but the family of the godly stands firm. And now, on the fringe. On the fringe, they've been getting so much clearer lately, you know? Try to imagine the agony of living with a condition that not only drains your energy, but also keeps you on the fringe of society. In Jewish culture, hey boys, what are y'all doing? In Jewish culture, when women experienced their monthly flow of blood, they were considered ceremonially unclean. 12 years of isolation from a constant, unexplained bleeding would drain the faith of most, but not this preserving woman who sought Jesus. Most men cannot fully fathom the hope, love, and acceptance this woman experienced when, after 12 years of bloody suffering on society's fringe, she experienced healing by touching the fringe of Christ's garment. Oh my God. Listen, give me 5 minutes and y'all can be as, y'all can do y'all noises that y'all want to do as loud as you want to. But give me 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes, okay? Goodness gracious. Well, at least it buys me time. If he's sitting in my lap, then they're not hiding. It buys me at least 2 seconds, right? Stop licking my face. I'm not gonna lie. And now, chat, we're gonna ask for wisdom and clarity for tonight's word. And so I'll be right back. Okay. And now Psalm 71, 1 through 24. My God, rescue me from the power of the wicked. And we want to read Proverbs 12, 5 through 7. The plans of the godly are just. The advice of the wicked is treacherous. I'm reading this first for a reason, but we'll get right back. Reject the kiss from him. Nah, he be trying to kiss me in the lips, bro. The words of the wicked are like a murderous ambush, but the words of the godly save lives. The wicked die and disappear. But the family of the godly stands firm. I read that first for a reason, and we're gonna get right to that. Um, meow, 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 meow. Suppose there are prophets among you who dream dreams about the future, and they promise you signs or miracles, and they predict the signs and miracles. There we go. If they then say, "Come, let us worship other gods," gods you have not known before, do not listen to them. I feel like this is a very powerful verse for this specific time and space that we're living in right now. You feel me? Because there are a lot of people right now claiming to be able to, like, um, you know this is like the times when they said it's gonna be a lot of people coming out of the woodwork saying about what they can do, and then having you go follow their random things that they do, right? Um, when they're talking to multiple things, right? They're talking to multiple things, and they're not like specifying, right? And then they're having you go join their randomness with them, but they don't also tell you the background stuff. They don't tell you the background stuff and all the turmoil they deal with when they deal with these other entities that they mess with, right? Um, And I just wanted to reiterate that piece right there, right? I'm not gonna lie, they don't have nothing to offer you. These other entities don't have nothing to offer you, right? Absolutely nothing, right? They can't do anything for real. And only thing they can do is, like trick you into using your power, and pretending that they did it. That's the only thing they can do. They can trick you into using your power and then pretend that they did it. So that's why I say don't mess with these other things. I'm not gonna lie. Do not mess with these other things. They're just tricks. They're just, what are they what are they're just they're the tricksters. They're tricksters for sure. They're definitely tricksters, right? Um so, don't bother with them. They can't really do anything for you, you know? The only one to deal with is the only one, right? And that's why I always ask for wisdom and clarity before I start sharing, because I know who's talking through me at that point, right? And that's the point, right? Before I start speaking, I know where the information is coming from. It's not coming from a third party, right? Um, and that's the whole point, right? Um, but that's why I always do that after the read, because there may be, other things out here, and you'd be a fool to believe that you're the only thing here in this strange planet we live on, right? You'd be a fool to believe that. I'm not gonna lie, right? Um, so I'm gonna have to put you down, but don't go fight your brother, okay? Is that cool? You coming back? You come on. Never mind. He's not going anywhere. He came back. His brother's here too. Right? But you'd be a fool to believe that it's just you here, right? Be a fool to believe something like that. I'm not gonna lie. You for sure be a fool to believe that. Not gonna lie, right? In this strange place with all these strange animals and all these strange things that happen all the time, you'd be a fool to believe something like that. Not gonna lie, right? So instead of overly interacting, right, with these strange things. So this is the thing. Never worship these things. And this is why I say this, is because they don't have any real power, right? And it's not really about power, but it is with them. It is with them. It's about power with them, though, right? And they don't have any real power, but they know about you, right? They clearly know about you, right? Um, and they'll try to like get you to like believe that they're doing something that actually you did, you know? And then stay out of that. I'm just making you aware to stay out of that type of stuff. Stay out of that type of stuff. It's a rabbit hole that leads absolutely to nowhere, right? Um, and it's a warning. It's a warning right here to do not involve yourself with them in a worshiping fashion. I wouldn't talk to them in the first place. I'm gonna keep it hot with you. I really honestly wouldn't talk to them in the first place, right? Because if they try to trick you in the first place, why would you talk to them anyways? It's like having a friend who it's like telling somebody can y'all please stop doing that? It's like telling somebody they're your friend, right? But you know they're sneaky, right? But they've already done something sneaky before, right? But then you keep them around as a friend. That's like what you're doing there. It's like a terrible idea, right? Um, and the guy said love your neighbor, forgive, right? But he didn't say keep people around you. I know Jesus kept that guy around and he ended up taking him out of here in the end. But he didn't say keep folks around you. you know, some of these people got to go. Some of these people got to go, right? Um, uh, so it's just pretty much what you're doing there. If you're involving yourself with something that tried to trick you in the first place, right? That's with people. That's with anything. If you're involving yourself with something that tried to trick you in the first place, then you're being foolish. You know, am I streaming later? Possibly, because it's just me at the crib. It's just me here tonight. So I might stream later on. Um, but if you're going with something that's already tried to trick you before, you're just being foolish, right? They've already tried to trick you before, right? They're gonna try to trick you again. It doesn't matter what they say about what they're gonna try to do next. You can forgive them, right? And move on with your life. But if you keep them around, they're gonna try again. And next time, who knows? They might fool you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again. Oh man. So I can't let go of what happened. That running across the wall thing though, bro, is crazy. Not gonna lie. That's literally some anime stuff. Not gonna lie. That whole anime running across the wall thing you said earlier is crazy. Not gonna lie. Oh man. Um, and then we have another faith parable from Luke, right? We have another faith parable from Luke 8:40 through 9, and then on verse 6. It's another parable about him having an incredible amount of faith, trust and belief in the miracles that can be performed by just touching his robe, right? Um, mindset and mental health, right? Facts, it is. Because, you can get whooped on for a while. If you get whooped on for a while, if you don't got a strong mental health, it's up. If you go there and get whooped on for a little bit, I understand. You're probably gonna leave. If your mental health is not good, if you're not strong in the mind, you're gonna leave. you know, you know, you gotta want to stay around, get better, improve. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about what you're capable of doing. Uh, I feel like that's a big thing with in all physical sport like activities. You have to believe and have like a good sense of self. So why did I fight with that kid the other day? I honestly forgot them. That's pretty crazy. I don't really know. You put on when you fought with Heaven in the chat? That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Not gonna lie, when you were in here fighting with Heaven in the chat, my brain was thumping. My brain was thumping like this, but it's okay. Um, uh, oh man, but yeah, that's y'all are ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, I zoned out for a second. I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out for a split second. I do zone out from time to time. I left the door open earlier, and these little small little things. I'm not sure what they are. I've never seen them before in my life. Really tiny flying things. They got in the house. So now I'm smacking them as I go. I'm smacking them because I told the bugs about coming in my house. I already told the bugs about coming in my house. I said, "You cool if you outside? I won't mess with you outside. That's your domain, brother. But if you come in my house, it's my house. It's my domain. I'm gonna get you out of here. This is my domain. I'm gonna get you out of here. This is not that you're overstepping your boundaries, brother. And I have every right to get you out of here. I have every right to get you out here. You broke it. Technically, you broke in my house. I'm not saying that, but like, the bugs, you feel me? Technically, the bugs snuck in the crib, right? Now I gotta get them out because you're not allowed in here, bro. I'm about to take you out of here. It is what it is. Oh man. Um, but I hope you enjoyed tonight's word. I did. Just a reminder, there are people out here that are going to try to get you to do the things that they're doing, try to lead you astray, try to have you interacting with all these things, trying to have you into all these things out here when you only need to look in one direction. Um, not the music group, that's crazy. In one direction though, um, and just remain faithful to that. Remain faithful to who's been taking care of you all your life. You just want to be so bad to the point to where they need to stop me from going too far. That's pretty funny. Oh man. Um, but don't forget where your helps come from this whole time. You feel me? That's a really, really important thing. Um, and don't forget to have faith. Don't forget, even in trying times, that in the trying times you may want to look left and right to see if there's something else that can help you, right? But stay focused. Stay focused on what's right ahead of you. Don't look left and right. There's no point. Right? Left and right, you're just gonna lead you in like a loop de loop. You're gonna loop de loop, then pull, and but your shoes is not looking cool. Um, and you look if you look left and right, man, and you need to be focused on where you need to go, you're gonna do this thing on the left or the right, but you're gonna end up coming right back to the beginning. That's why I say it's a loop. It's a big loop. You feel me? If you look left and right and you take the left or right path, you're gonna end up right back in the same spot eventually. Right? You should have just stayed focused. Right. So just stay focused on God. And that's it. If you go mess with all this other stuff, you gon' a lot just like a lot of them say, right? They say they went astray. A lot of people say they went astray from God, right? And then they went to this other so they looked left and right, right? And they took the right or left path. But then they end up going on in this big loop, this big circle for no reason, right? And then they end up right back with God. So don't even look left and right, bro. It's not worth it. It's a waste of your life. It's a waste of your life. Dead serious. Not gonna lie. It's a dead serious waste of your life. It may seem like, oh, I'm exploring, right? But you get so much more done if you just stay focused. You get so much more done if you just stay focused, right? And it's true because that applies to just regular things. This has nothing to do with spirituality or God or none of that stuff. Staying focused, you if you think about the simple part of that, you do get more things done, right? So, who is the only true God we should look for? Easy question for you. The only true God is the only one that made us. When you go talk to God, you know, always begin with asking for clarity and wisdom. You feel me? That's what I always do, and then you listen. But the only one that created us. There are a lot of other things out here for sure, but you know when you hear the one that God's always with us no matter what facts. Who was that? You know that. You can feel it. When you're talking to God, you can feel it. When you're talking to anything else, you can feel that too. You know? When you're talking to God, you can feel it. You can feel when you're talking to God, for sure. You come out with a smile on your face after talking to God. You may have been bawling tears, you may have been falling out in tears, but after you talk to God for real, You smile after that. You know you can feel it. I can't really tell you who God is. God made everything. God is everything, right? But God is a singular thing at the same time. You know, God is everything, but God is you ever seen that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, that title? Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's what God is. Everything everywhere all at once. God is everything everywhere all at once, right? But God is also one thing. So that makes everything everywhere all at once also just one thing. But that's a rabbit hole. That's another part. That's another segment we're not getting into tonight. We're not getting into that tonight. You know, that's not what this stream is about. We're not doing that. You know, but it's pretty funny. But God is everything. God is everything and every God is everything and everyone. You know, God is that's why he said God's always with you. That's why, food came in the chat. Food came in here said God is always with us no matter what. That's pantheism. If God is everything, that means everything is God. So you can worship anything. No. No, 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 no. That is not what that is. It is not confusing. Now let me clarify. But before I clarify, let me demonstrate what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go and ask for wisdom and clarity before I continue speaking. All right. And you'll be able to feel the difference in me when I come back. God is everything. There is no such thing as Satan. There is no such thing as good or evil. There's a thing that what people call, this the Satan is things that you do that are extremely self-serving. When you do things that are very self-serving, it is evil in nature because you're more likely to hurt your neighbor. And what did God say in the Bible? To love your neighbor. There is no such thing as good and evil. There is a such thing as self-serving, you know? Respectfully, you think too deep. Respectfully, he's making it too deep with all these additional explanations. But when you read a lot of information, you feel me, you get jumbled up and you can't stay focused on the one thing that's true, right? But there was no such thing as good and evil. There's a such thing as being extremely self-serving, which means that you will hurt your neighbor in the process. You are more likely to hurt your neighbor. And what did God say? Love your neighbor. And what did God say? Also, He said the only way you love me, right, is if you love your neighbor. So what would be evil? If you were intentionally doing what? Hurting your neighbor. Exactly. That's what evil is. That's the definition of evil. If you really want to reclassify what evil is, there you go. That's a great definition right there. Evil is intentionally hurting your neighbor. If there is no good or evil, what is a sin? What is a sin? I just told you. A sin is doing something to intentionally hurt your neighbor. I just told you. You're not listening. A sin is something that you intentionally do to hurt your neighbor. What did God say in the Bible? Love your neighbor. What are five things you will forever love? Five things I will forever love: my moms, my sisters, my granddad, my grandma, my wife, my dogs, my entire family, my friends. Bro, I got a list. God. How did I forget God in that right there? But you already know how we rocking. Um, you know, and my team for sure. My team that God put with me in this, you know. Um, but yeah, you're not listening, truth. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I gave you a very simple explanation. A sin and evil is doing something to intentionally hurt somebody. It's doing something to intentionally hurt your neighbor, right? Because what do you do when you hurt your neighbor? You hurt yourself. Because what did I just say? God is everything, everywhere, all at once, right? If your God is one person alone, like God or Jesus, or is your God tri-personal? Now, you're doing too much, but I'm gonna break this down for you as well because I got you, brother. Right? So, is my God multiple things? My God is everything, everywhere, all at once. So that what does that mean? Jesus is an example of what you are capable of. All these people that God has sit down here and brought down here with already having the wisdom and the clarity to listen to Him, right? Or whatever gender you want to give God, because God is everything, everywhere, all at once. So it doesn't really matter what gender you're talking about. But we typically cosign the gender of God based on our own gender, right? So if you, whatever you want to say there, right? But Jesus is an example of what you're capable of, right? Jesus is not God. Jesus is not God. He's an example. You're supposed to follow his example, right? God sent you an example, an easy example of several different people throughout history, right? Of several different people throughout history of who do you believe Jesus is Messiah? I believe Jesus is a great example of what you're capable of. That's what I believe. I believe I don't really know what all these other things entail, but what I do know is that Jesus is a great example of what you're capable of, what you're capable of when you listen. That's what I believe. I feel like that's exactly what I believe. Not what I feel like. That's exactly what I believe. Jesus is a great example of what you're capable of if you know how to listen. You believe Jesus is Messiah. That's not what was said. What you mean? What do you mean that's not? What's up, Riffin? I didn't even know you were a different person, brother. Okay, but let me go back to answer true question before I answer your question, Riffin, because I never finished. Let me get right to it though. Truth. Let me hold on. A role. What do you mean? A role model is not a Messiah. A role model is not a Messiah. It's crazy. You sound like more Muslim than Christian, bro. I'm glad you're not silly enough to believe a man was God. Why would I be silly enough to believe a man was God? I don't believe in these denominations. I do not believe in no denominations. I'm not going to claim that to be anything. I'm raised as Christian, you know? That's what I'm raised as. But I listen to what God tells me. I don't believe a whole bunch of other people. I listen to God and God explicitly. I don't believe I don't even believe y'all most of the time. I don't even believe y'all most of the time. I mess with y'all, but I listen to everything people say with a grain of salt, right? Because it's always something in there, right? So I listen to everything people say with a grain of salt. Because the majority of Christians worship Jesus, despite Jesus worshiping the Father alone. Yeah, I kind of picked that when I was a kid, though, right? If you pay attention, especially when you were a kid, if you pay attention when you're a kid, after game interview facts, right? It does, right? But especially when you're a kid, if you pay attention when you're a kid, for sure, Skip, I mess with you, bro. But whenever I listen, even when I listen to my wife, I listen to everything she says with a grain of salt. With a grain of salt, I listen to everything people say. If you're a person, I listen to anything you say with a grain of salt. Because you know, you could be speaking from any place. People are multifaceted in that way. You can speak from multiple places, right? So you can't always trust the things that people say. You know, you really can't because there are multiple. There, we thought we have something. We do. We homies. I even my closest homies in the world. I listen to things they say with a grain of salt. I listen to everything they say with a grain of salt. Everything. Because people speak when I was 8 and learned that the King Version says women have the requirements in order to gain access to heaven. What are those? I have not finished the entire Bible, so you let me know. Um, I paid attention to the things that stood out, and when the things that stood out are what I listened to. I never really paid attention to a lot of the back and forth stuff. Whenever I will listen to that, nothing would speak to me from that, right? Um, Nothing would speak to me from there. But when I would listen to other things, I would genuinely I genuinely feel like clarity and wisdom coming from. And then I would be able to figure and then I would just listen. I would just listen to what was coming in and then I would take it in and then I don't really know how to explain it. I just know. Excuse me. I don't really know how to explain it. I just have faith and I know how to and I trust. Right. Um and so in that aspect, I trust more so that God is doing way more good in my life than anything else. So it's not really I don't really believe God is sending a lot of the other stuff to me. I feel like God is sending me more of the good things in life. You know, there is or whatever. Timothy, I'm not arguing, genuinely trying to find someone who can tell me what God gave me the inability to have children. Then damn me to hell for it. Read it, man. Why do you trust the Bible though? Why you take it to be from God? Why do I trust the Bible? Because there's obviously wisdom in the Bible regardless of how you believe, how you feel about denominations, right? Different sects of beliefs, there's wisdom in these books, right? There is clearly wisdom in these books, clearly, right? And you don't have to overcomplicate it. It's extremely simple. All the wisdom in these books is extremely simple. It's right in front of your face, right? Um, and all of these books pull from, similar places, right? All these books pull from similar places. So I trust the Bible because I've lived on the Bible, right? I've gotten to where I've gotten in life from living on the Bible. Like, does your partner have children? Does my partner have children? It's crazy. What do you mean, does my partner have children? I ain't got no kids, so no, she ain't got no kids either. I mean, some people do marry people who already have kids, but I didn't. Not in this situation. I didn't do that. Oh, you don't like my stuff in the background, bro? This is my childhood right here, bro. I like these things. Would you agree that God is perfect and his word must be perfect and contradiction free? What First Timothy 2:15, mods ban him. You're the mod. You're the mod. Don't ban him though. It's not nothing really going on in here. Do I believe God's word is perfect? I believe God gave us specific instructions, and then you got to listen to them. And if you don't listen to them, you'll find out. You'll find out. God gave us specific instructions, and all you gotta do is listen to them. And if you don't listen to them, you'll find out. So, you know, you know, it's that saying. I can't say it right now because we just read the Bible. I can't really do that. And the Bible stream is crazy. But F around and find out. There we go. There we go. Fudge around and find out. You feel me? There we go. Um, that's right there. But it's very simple. The Bible is a very um it's a very cool book to read. I really like it. I enjoy it. Actually, I love reading through and seeing this because I learn a lot. I learn a lot every single time. I learn about things that I'm allowed to trust. You learn about what you're allowed to trust, right? It really helps you learn um how to use your discernment. It really helps you learn how to use your discernment. And that's what I like about it the most. It really helps you learn how to use discernment, learn how to trust the wisdom that's coming to you, and learn how to use um and learn how to use your clarity to clarify and maybe even share the wisdom you receive. You know, um, that's what I really like about doing this read is the ability to better use my discernment, to better use my wisdom, to better use my clarity. To better do those things because I can always improve. Um, I can always get better, and. Um, that's just what I prefer to do as me. Uh, I'm sharing, receiving it maybe. Let me read. If you love your partner and want them to have a free will, that Bible talks about them. Sweetie, read 1 Timothy proceeding in faith. God also in the verse we just read yesterday, because you probably weren't here yesterday for day 89, but we're on day 90 in a row, riffing, right? We've been doing this 1 year Bible read for 90 days in a row. Tomorrow will be day 91 in a row. But like they're indirectly attacking you. Remember, Mr. Core, I'm your bodyguard. Hey, listen, brother. God, you're my bodyguard, but God is also my bodyguard, and He is speaking right through me. I haven't felt, you know, attacked or defeated from any of these statements. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, what's up, Bentley? Welcome to the chat, Bent. Welcome to the chat, Bent. But yesterday, and I read in yesterday's read, right? God also in the Bible told you to respect your woman. It literally when we did our read yesterday, it finished the read up with respect your woman. Tell the women in your life that you love them, that you appreciate the things they do. So whatever you're pulling here with the other thing, I haven't got there yet, Riffin. But we'll get there when we get there. Right. And then I'll ask for wisdom and clarity. I won't let my emotions or my own personal perceptions influence the word that I'm reading, right? That's the one thing you have to remember. If you get offended by the things you read, then you let your own personal emotions and perceptions influence you. You need to ask for wisdom and clarity, and then listen for the wisdom and clarity you're supposed to receive. You know, remember the code word doggy? I didn't even know that was a code word, but thank you for letting me know. Thank you. So that's pretty funny. But let me read the rest of it. God communicates with people other than prophets directly. Why we send scripture and not just talk to us like you claim, bro. God speaks to everyone. Everybody can speak to God, right? Everybody can speak to God. You know, literally everybody, literally anybody. Has used. Have you never seen the videos of the crackheads, bro? Have you never seen the videos of the crackheads, bro? Have you never seen those? No way you've never seen the crackheads, right? The crackheads who are spitting that wisdom. You never seen them? I see them all the time. I see those videos all the time. You never seen those videos? Because God can use literally anybody. God can use any vessel. There's no vessel that God created that he cannot use. What are you talking about? Not gonna lie. Then what is the role of a prophet or a messenger? A prophet or a messenger, right? Their role is to help lead the masses. Just because God uses a crackhead to deliver one message does not mean that crackhead is supposed to lead the masses. Come on now, stop it. You try to use a human based logic here. I'm not human. You try to use human-based logic here, brother. I'm not human. I said to RL and the man was cooking. Facts, that's all I'm saying. It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Oh man, that's pretty funny. But it's cool, bro. Keep it coming, because I'm smooth. I already asked for clarity and wisdom, bro. I did it that quick. I didn't even have to close my eyes. I closed my eyes and do all the other stuff for y'all to see, because you're supposed to go into a quiet space when you want to speak to God. You're supposed to go into a place. That's why I wanted to. Not. I want. I am starting to do the 10-minute meditations before we start doing our in the gym streams, because we're gonna sit in 10 minutes of quiet and be chill for 10 minutes with nobody talking, and just learn how to sit in some quiet time for 10 minutes. And then we probably won't end up arguing like this in the chat for no reason at all whatsoever about some things that don't matter. Um, that too, you know? Like, what is his name? Um, you're not supposed to be saying God's name. You're not supposed to be saying God's name. I'm very sure that's in the Bible too. You're obviously not supposed to be saying that, right? I just say God, right? I don't know what you would want to use right there. That also doesn't mean that God would tell me his name, right? Just because I can speak, right? I know how to be quiet. I know how to be still and listen. And I know how to be still and listen does not mean God will tell me his name. There's a million people on this planet that can also be still and listen. That does not mean God told them their his name too. You know? So what do you these are more things that don't make any sense that you're trying to say. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, but try again, brother. Come on. Come on, I'm cooking. Mm. I got the skillet. I put the what did J. Cole say in the song? Caramelize the onions or something. Dang, I forgot it. Dang, I feel like Mr. Core, what I believe is a regular man cannot handle the knowledge of everything about God. Facts, you go insane. You go insane. There have been people who have tried, and what have they done? You can look these people up. There are people who have tried, right? People that tried to try to become God, because it's insane to try to become God. You know how much responsibility God has. You know how much responsibility God has. You're telling me you want to have all that responsibility? You're tripping, right? But there are people you can look up across all the world, right? Who have tried to emulate as God, and what have they done? They've crashed and burned every single time, right? Because that is a lot. First of all, that's a lot of responsibility. Most people haven't completely, don't know anything about themselves to be trying to get responsibility like that in the first place. Most people don't know how to lead other folks to be trying to get responsibility like that in the first place. Most people don't know how to talk to people to be trying to get responsibility like that in the first place. Most people don't know how to direct to be trying to get responsibility like that in the first place. These are things that you don't want to do. You may think it's cool, but have you ever put any actual thought into things like this? Probably not, right? If you think that you want to be God, then you put absolutely no thought into being God. That's something that's some food for thought. If you think you want to be God, you have put absolutely no thought into what God is in control of. You know? You haven't put no thought into what all the things that God has to do all the time, right? Stop it. You don't want that. You don't want the responsibility and you're not ready for it. Stop it. You don't want the responsibility and you're not ready for it. I guarantee it. Especially if you say like things like this in my chat. It's pretty funny though. It's pretty funny though. You don't want that responsibility. Stop it. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Because you don't want that. Stop it. You get worked from Sunday to Monday, boy. You get work from Sunday to Monday, boy. Stop it. Because you went 8 days instead of 7. You got work from Sunday to Monday, boy. Stop it. You do not want that work. Stop it. Stop it. You know? And for the people that we don't even know if there's a life outside of Earth. Um, yeah, facts. We really don't know. Some people may have had some experiences. I've had encounters with other things before. So I know there are other things other than humans, for sure. 1000%. Definitely. Hey, what's up, Ben? How you doing, bro? Welcome to the stream, bro. But like other people, they don't have like the cool encounters I do. I don't have any kind of like feeling about things like that. So regardless, can you see my dog? Say, hey, Alf. Say, I'm going to the groomers soon, so I won't look like this. Um, you know, but if you got like intentions for things, or not the coolest intentions for things, then you can get cooked. You don't want to have these encounters. You don't want to have these encounters. People are not ready for these things they say they're ready for sure. It's crazy. But it's okay because humans are legitimately insane. Because humans are legitimately insane. And baby, you gotta get down. I'm not gonna lie. Nah, he's smelling my canteen. Smell like dad's breath, huh? Smell like my breath. Yeah, it probably does. Probably does. I feel like I was cooking those boys and they left. I wanted them to keep asking questions. I feel like I was cooking them and they had nothing else and they left. I really wish they stayed. I really wish they stayed. Don't you come in here disrespecting my God. On everything. I'll be on your head top. That's funny. That's funny. I'm gonna be on your head top. No kizzy. I'ma ask. I'm a facts. The poor guy does have a family. You gonna beat him up for catching you slipping the other day. And he got a family at the crib. Hold him. Tough. Whole family. Hold him. Come here, baby. We'll come back up. What's up, big baby? Oh, you caught me. I knew it. I knew you were catch me slipping. Uh, stop licking me in my face before we fight, bro. You want to fight? What's up, baby? Bro. Oh man. You know, it's pretty funny though. It's pretty funny. And these tangents are mad funny too. But I really do wish not to know they're haters, bro. Killed them, bro. They have nothing. They got nothing to say. Bro, I pre-asked for the wisdom and clarity. It was too late. They should have came before I asked for wisdom and clarity. Maybe they would have got me, but I already asked. I'm good. Protected. you know? That's pretty funny. Oh man. Oh, be careful, baby. That was an awkward fall. Ooh, that would have hit you in your head. I'm glad I slapped that on the ground. Oh man, but like, hey, I'm gonna slide because I gotta call the wife back real quick. I gotta call the wife back real quick, so we're gonna slide, right? But thank you, hey Skip, appreciate you for joining the chat as always, bro. Also, thank you to Ben, thank you to the new people, the Bentley, the Riffin. Who else was here today? Let me. I'm still scrolling. Who else was here today? Mm, Fu. Stu was here for a minute. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't know he was here that long. Pop, Julian, I appreciate y'all for showing up to stream. And basketball, almost forgot you, bro. The newest mod to the chat. But I appreciate all y'all for joining me. And you go and hit this prayer, bro. I'm listening. My eyes are closed. I'm ready for the prayer. Amen. Amen. Facts, bro. Facts, bro. Hey, I appreciate that last little piece of throwing in what you're grateful for. I appreciate that. That's fire. Hey, what's up, Angel? Welcome to the chat. You caught us at the very end of the stream, but today was day 90 of our 1 year Bible read. Tomorrow will be day 91 if you want to join the community. Drop that subscribe and turn on your post notifications. We do it at 8 p.m. EST. Between 8 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. EST. But we're gonna hit this outro if you're new to the chat. Mexico shows up once and then leaves. Facts he does. But he wants to get his points first, then he leaves. We all got that limitless score, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. Thank y'all for joining me today. Thank y'all for tuning into day 90 in a row of our 1 year Bible read. And thank you if you subscribed, if you turn on your post notifications, and if you're going to join us tomorrow for day 91. I appreciate y'all and you have a great rest of your night. Happy Friday to you. And I'm gonna see y'all maybe later, but if not later, tomorrow. Peace. See you.